Oh, hey, fellas. So today we're going to be continuing on where we left off yesterday. So it will be the Sharlayan questline first, then we'll go into Tavner. I'll just leave that one there for later. And now we gotta head out to the Nomenon. So to the big library, pretty much. So let's run there. No. This way, yeah. Alright. Off we go. Into the Nomenon. Let's see what this guy has to say. Are you familiar with the wandering minstrel? Minstrel? Yeah, shouldn't there be an I there? Is it LIFO? Oh well, maybe. The tale he spins never failed to engage and enthrall. What I wouldn't give to receive a masterclass in storytelling for the minstrel himself. That's nice. I guess. So there is Krill. Hello, Krill. Or Kryl. My directions are easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Nomenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of the many at that, for the archives of Nomenon extend deep beneath the surface, like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great Gubal library pale in comparison to Nomenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Istola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Ofino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues you're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they've found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Oh, goody! Back to school we go. Kinda. So what does this fellow have to tell us? Sting my colleague in his hunt for essential materials, specifically a thesis by Moinbrida. Oh, Moinbrida. But it's difficult to find any one tome in a library of this size. Well, Seal Swiss. Oh, were you looking for a specific volume? Only Archons will check out forbidden tomes, but if there's anything else you require, simply say the word. Well, I want these tomes. I guess I'll have to look for them. The title on the spine reads The Story of Sharlayan. Read the book. Long, long ago, on an island in the Northern Sea, there lived a Rogidian man by the name of Nyunkrep. God, what a weird name. Nyunkrep was a student of astrology, and then he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nyunkrep crew hauled them aboard his hark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. Oh, so an ark. So Noah's Ark, I'm guessing. With only moments to spare, Nyunkrep wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abalathia's spine. Okay. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them. It was not long before disputes of the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nyon Krepf gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the Ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time became the city of Sharlayan we live to this day. Okay. So that's the basic story of how Sharlayan came to be. Road of Old, the colony. Many years ago, on the banks of the Taliak in the Dravanian hinterlands, a Sharlayan colony once thrived. Oh, so this is Idilshire, or Idilshire, not sure how you pronounce it. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th astral era. Yeah, I have no idea in which year we are. I'm not even sure which era we are. Is it the 7th umbral or is it the 8th astral? I can't recall right now. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in the structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students, hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. The Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as the Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. It doesn't matter now. That little bit doesn't really matter. What do you have to tell us, Granville? I'm right in the middle of something, so you don't mind leaving me to my research? Thank you. Yeah, sure. Drown on your books for all I care. The voice of a growing city. In the years which followed the founding of Sharlayan, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th astral era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition into a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens, chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum, as we know it today, conceived and created. So a republic. Pretty much, I believe. An introduction to the heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space. Yet, amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws which govern that starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud, and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the internal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? Now there's an introduction for astrophysics for you guys. Forever 20 Summers. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed the rest of your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mystery that drives us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Now this also applies to gaming. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19, or 23, or 40, whatever age you are when you discover this manual. Let that be the age you aspire to remain. Though mindful, healthy living will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer, to grasp upon the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, a theological, and arcane viewpoint. Alright. So a book on nutrition, kinda. Stay healthy, fellas. Time-worn Tome, Stewards of Wisdom. So I'm guessing this is the last book. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Yun Krep, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men, brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the north and empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of the Savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading, with knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth in coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founder's teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. So I guess we have now know enough about Sharlayan. Is there any other book we can peruse? Nah, doesn't seem like it. Well, let's just see what this guy has to tell us. I'm just here looking for some tomes I need to reference for my thesis. Luckily for me, if a tome exists, it's almost certainly somewhere in Nomenon. Yeah, good luck finding that tome. I'm not too sure if that's supposed to be... Oh, strange. Oh. So that's it for the hitting the books. It's actually the name of the quest. Now I notice. So let's wait here for a little while for people to show up. Do we get some voice acting? Sorry, were we waiting long? Nah, not really. I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising tomes. Alfino and Krill should also be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically. So we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate. Plenty of comfortable places to read and a ready supply of hot tea. Mm. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. Yeah, actually seems like a good idea reading outside. I always like to read on the beach. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alfino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. Yeah, a harsh measuring indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position, and that of the Forum, will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We will mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. What of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family? Or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. Story time. In the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact, for generations my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite to the island of Tavner. The Elegants founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of elegant technology from being misused. Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, it is as the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the legions Locus Amoenos. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. Isn't that Nile? House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Halligan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Halligan eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of a lag. As the last child born with Allagan eye, I was given over to the custody of friends in the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Yeah, actually, Graha has a pretty big backstory, apparently. Even Thanker was taken in by Archon Luiso, Luiso? Luisois. That's how you say it. Was he not? Stories of adopted wives and rescued orphans are more common among Sharlayans than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacy, perspicacy, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It is exactly why I have such love for this country, and I wish to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Here, here. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Yes, that trifling matter. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books. More company should be arriving at any moment now. Okay. More people to hit the books. There are others better suited to poring over old history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with the more recent events, if I can find anything to better inform the forum's baffling behavior. What else do I know of Corvus? Precious little, I'm afraid. I've not returned since Master Galuf first brought me here. Oh, you got brought here by Master Galuf? Okay. I can tell you that Corvus here rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their Imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have carpets! Flying carpets! The legends are quite extraordinary. Okay. So let's wait for a little bit more. See who appears here. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mr. Skrull has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we'll be looking into research papers on the umbral calamities, as well as articles written by preeminent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Need a little bit of water. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details. Okay, let's see how much we do recall. My thanks. Now, where to begin? Okay, now there's the music. First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? The worst kind of phenomena you can imagine. Primals of unrivaled power summoned from the ether. Not really. Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, pretty much. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Spear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligned with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Istolus surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals, promulgated by the Ascians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? Alfino, you can answer this one. The entire star was engulfed by disaster all at once. I do remember they talking about this back in fake Amarat. They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. Ah yes, the Amaratins spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise, Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarat was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered a harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenam's mammoths and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They knocked Dalamud from the sky. Really? They knocked Dalamud from the sky. Dalamud wasn't even up there at that point. And they didn't summon Hydaelyn. They did summon Zodiac though. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiac brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Life sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiac, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venet and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you both of you for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? A convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. Who knows? But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let's just return to our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Ishtola, but this time we began studying these research papers. Okay, so let's talk, see what they say. Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway. Okay, still the same. You're still the same as well. Yeah, so Kryl. It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right then, and not enough shedding, more reading. Alright. I'll just wait here while you guys read. I actually forgot to change the title now that I remember. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Arcane stacks produced one or two possibly useful books. Just give me a second. Okay, it's fine, I guess. We're playing Endwalker MSQ. I can just change something here. I don't even know. No, I'll just leave it like that, I guess. Because I don't know how I would describe it. So I'll just leave it like that. Then when we continue on to Tavner, I'll change it, I guess. Anyhow, let's continue on. But I won't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflections from the Giran oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Goa Library. It is even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet, when you confronted Master Fortuno with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. I guess. Oh. I'm not a Sharlayan. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Really? Do I have to stand here and reading books? I do love the reaction of the character. Or my reaction. Eh. Your labor for it feels an age as it stole as research assistant. Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. I've thought not of interest so far. I think Istola might be right about not getting our hopes up. Your efforts to gain Rahatia's attention go unnoticed. He appears to be lost in his reading. Okay, Elisa is already done. Which is expected. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? No. Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read from them again, a mammoth at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. You might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Okay. Let's see. Well, I did find one paper focused on the world before the advent of the first umbral calamity, but it reads more like a work of fanciful fiction than an actual academic supposition. Okay, so everything is still the same. Yeah. So let's see what Alizai was to tell us. Oh, we're going to the cafe, I suppose. Ready for a tea break? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. So, your neck and shoulders are going to calcify if you don't stretch your legs. That makes sense. You know the last stand down in the arbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables. I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. I actually could go for some more coffee. Did it change? No, nothing changed. So off to the last stand we go. Pity we can just run straight ahead. You have to go all the way around to get to the cafe. Why can't I just jump down and swim there? At least I don't think I can. Yeah, just making sure. I was under the impression I couldn't. Actually, I can make this a bit faster. Not much, but just a little bit. So here is Alizai. As busy as ever, I see. How very Sharlayan that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before I place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telophoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Yeah, I think that's not the best of ideas, but fine. Yada yada yada. So now we have a pet Alizé. Alizé. Someone here at the cafe should be willing to speak with us. Let's ask around. Yeah, let's just be obnoxious and talk about some conspiracy theory. Wait, what? What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you are looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We're simply wondering if you knew of the Telophoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Wait, you're that house leveler kid, a girl, aren't you? Leveilleur. And this woman with you is obviously a foreigner. I'd heard you were renowned for helping outsiders indulge in their barbaric hymns. And here you are, giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I have naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect 1 ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come. Well, that sounds a bit sassy. Why do you want to go around stirring trouble, Alizé? Why must you do this? What do these people have to say? My friends and I were just discussing the Maki and the practice of black magic. Did you know that? Wait, is it evening already? How long have we been sitting here? Well, probably a few months already. Welcome, step right in. If you have placed your order, find yourself a seat and we'll be along shortly. Ah, okay, nothing much. Nothing all that important there. Yeah. You must try the Zurek, it's amazing. Best shared with a loved one if you ask me. Okay. Ildois. Well, yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telophoroi and their unconscionable plans. Yes, don't build up into it, just rush straight in. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Leveilleur. My apologies, but I work on the offices of the forum, and if word reached Master Fortunato that I was helping you... I see, we're sorry to have bothered you. I don't wish to give you offense, but your companion is a well-known figure in the city. You never know, might be watching. I kind of forgot to talk again to that other fellow. Let's just head there. Granted myself clear, away with you, and let me dine in peace. So now, we're gonna talk to Dickon. Well, that's a terrible naming sense, I would say. Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Alice I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the last stand. I used to frequent this cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Olfino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything's alright at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Leveilleur. No matter how discreet Master Fortunato may have been, As if your family's doings never stay secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city, now of all times? We have questions, and only Sharlayan has the answers. Tell me, Master Deacon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Actually, just a moment. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Sharlayan, aren't you? So, you're talking to me, okay. Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're sitting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? Fine, I'll go serve people some food. That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. Well, the omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them is a Shiamikated gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just sulk and I will explain again. Good luck. Well, I think that's easy enough. And it must remember, the tea set goes to the group by the water, the omelette is for Gisla, a Highlander woman sitting outside with her friend. Last but not least, our famous lobster goes to the Mikatim man seated directly behind those two ladies. I think you'd be better off if I stay here, out of sight. Find out what you can and there'll be a hot cup of coffee waiting for you. There better be. So, you wished for some tea? Here you are. Oh, my tea set, lovely, thank you. The who? Sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'll be happy to talk your ear off. That might actually be useful, to be honest. So the omelette. Ah, finally! 2, 4, 6 state. Let's begin, no time to waste. What? The Telophoroi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest Gazette. That is some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Makes sense. Less than really does make the best omelettes in the world. The fluffiest egg, tartest sauce, I could eat it every day for a year. Only a year? God, the anticipation. I've heard it melt in your mouth like the most succulent roast ever made. Okay, let's see. Urbane banter with a smile. Here you go. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. The final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're Collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual life specimens and so forth. So, you mean to tell me they're a bit of an adventurer? So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Hi, by all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telophoroi make gear of their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the arbor, and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before, not like this. I want to try this meal ever since I saw it served at another table. Ah, the aroma alone was worth every gill I scraped together. Alright, enjoy your meal then. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Hell, I did find something. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and is the best source of gossip in the city. If the firm does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of tea I promised. Cup of coffee, I mean. Wait, should I say tea or coffee? Yeah. But let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Alright. Yeah, you just wanna check the people loading crates and whatnot. It's actually a somewhat decent spot. Pity there's no view. Yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt.
Okay.
And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been. How being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family.
Maybe.
If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
There we have the glider stud sporting stuff all around.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Yeah, what is that?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan
Okay.
is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility.
A living library. A zoo, kinda,
Still, that
then.
did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait,
Dun, dun, dun.
didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I
Yeah,
think
that was
they're
actually...
the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the forum is planning.
Yeah, that cleaner bit was the only thing useful we got. That was what I was about to say. That was the only useful information we got from all of that. Okay. So, what now? Should be heading to Labyrinthus shortly. A labyrinthine descent. Aliza is excited to share her revelations. I should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Nomenon and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Yes. It's important to give back the cups. How long? Oh, 1 minute. I'll just drop by. Oh, and I guess I'll unlock the hunts. Since they're here. Diminutive Gleaner. The diminutive Gleaner is on the lookout for able-bodied adventure. May I deceive me, or are you... Yes, I am. I am me. Well, as I live and breathe, it is you. Ha! I knew I'd be the first to track you down. Who's the guild ship stop hunter now, eh? Wait, you have heard of guild ship hunts, yes? They are not so different from the hunts you're familiar with in Eorzea, as I understand it. I'd wager they're rather more challenging, but an adventurer of your caliber would never turn down a challenge, would you? No, no, no. You would not. Pray speak with Northotha at the Peristyle to register your interest at your earliest convenience. So we're just gonna unlock those. Because it's always nice. Some extra nuts, some extra XP. Hello. Hi, I'm Northotha. Have you come to place a bounty on an unruly beast? Nah, I came to do the bounties. By the scholar, you're a fear? I was half convinced I'd set the others on an impossible task, asking them to find you. The Gleaner's guild ship has begun posting hunt bills, you see, in the hopes that capable individuals will take up arms and lighten up ever-increasing load. Unfortunately, capable individuals remain the sticking point. Few hailing from our fair polis are willing to take up arms, let alone stand against the more fearsome specimens. You, however, have the experience and the grit that we need. When I heard that you had arrived on our shores, it was music to my ears. You didn't work for free, of course. We've done our research, and the rewards you offer are as fine as any you'll find abroad. The currency we employ is a relic of times when Gleaner was a great deal less figurative, so you may find it somewhat eccentric, but it's as good as Gil here. Speaking of eccentric, it should be noted that the majority of our clients are scholars. You probably don't have heard of half the creatures they send you after, but I find it best not to worry about that overmuch. Slave beasts collect samples, try not to think about long-term effects of touching said samples, and get paid. Simple, no? Well, that sounds suspicious. That being said, I wouldn't dream of throwing you in the deep just yet. Let's have you start with some of the junior marks so you can get your feet wet. Okay. So now we have unlocked the hunts, and I'm just gonna grab them. Yeah. Alright. For use, so we're just gonna grab these. Doesn't really matter. Just while we're questing, we're bound to find something. Alright, I should head over here and put the retainers to work. Should always try to put your retainers to work. They're pretty much your bots. Your Square Enix sanctioned bots. Yeah, I do have a bunch of venture coins. A bit too many, I would say. But that's a bit too many. You don't really need that much. Okay, so let's go on. I'm guessing the studium will be okay. And I forgot to grab the rostra, which would probably be useful at some point. So here we go. Back to the place where everyone was reading. And now we need to check on them, see if their dialogue has changed. Ah, my loyal assistant returns. There is a lexicon on the first floor that I need you to... Ah, you've found something, haven't you? Yes, I have. I don't want more books. I don't want to go for more books. Where is Alize? I thought she was with you. Well, she'll arrive shortly. Is that coffee I smell? Did I miss the tea break? Yeah, you did. So, Kryl. Oh, more cinematic. Welcome back. It's been a walk. Been for a walk and clear your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Now we recount our information, I guess. Makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats. But as you say, they ultimately answer to the forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo. It certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let's see what theory we can build from the facts. As Istolo observed earlier, Dominon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Ephia and Alizea had learned at the last Sand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorze's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves. And if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. A fine idea. What should we expect down there? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I would like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books, and I'll be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. That sounds suspicious. Let's head down the stairs over there. I'll show you where the entrance is. Alright. Okay, so after this I'll take a short break. After getting to Labyrinthos, or near Labyrinthos. And then take a short break and then we'll resume in Labyrinthos. Ready? Labyrinth is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Alright. Is the path disorienting? Really? It seems like a straight path. So, are you gonna start running? Hey, come on. It's pleasant here amongst the trees. But really, you should move along. Yes, even walking, she walks way slower than me. Now we run. Try to keep up. Okay, now she runs at the same speed I do. Keep to the path, straight ahead. We cross this bridge. Up here. I'm ahead of you already. Okay, now we can grab the Aedrate. The Rostra, not far now. Wait, stop! Let me attune! Damn it. I'm not too sure if I don't follow her, she will despawn, so... Here we are, through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to turn the shower back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, you should keep moving. Alright. So now I'll have the time to grab the Aedrate. Anyhow, I'll head down there, and then I'll probably stop the stream for a moment, just cause I also wanna go bathroom and getting some more coffee and whatnot, and then I'll be resuming it in a bit. Not too sure how long it will take me to get some coffee and whatnot. That shouldn't be too long. Let's just talk with everyone here. What did the forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully the answer to at least one of these questions lies below. You didn't take a wrong turn in Rosta there, did you? I doubt the forum would take kindly on you barging in to a private session. I've not been to Labyrinthus in the longest time. Even I was a student, my visits were few and far between. Welcome to the Hall of Artifice. Should you be looking to descend to Labyrinthus, the lift here will take you there. I'm actually not too sure if we get bumped into Labyrinthus, like exactly right now. So I'll stop it here, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.